That was almost, if you like, that was Lamborghini's answer to sort of the F40, just around the time the F50 was coming out. I think it was 94, 95 they made the SE30s. And that's around the time, like a golden age, if you like, for supercars. So you've got the XJ220s, the McLaren F1, the Bugatti EB110s, you know, the F40 stroke F50, and then Lamborghini with the SE30. It was really like, for me, that was almost like a golden age of supercars.
Welcome to part 6 of our interview series with Chris Palmer. Last time, we were introduced to Chris's love of Lamborghini, starting with the Countach. Today, we're moving forward one V12 generation to the Diablo.
How did the SE30 come about? That again, not really a funny story. It came about early months of lockdown, and there's probably hundreds of us were sat in front of the laptop, couldn't really do anything, and unfortunately that night I'd had a bottle of wine as well. I was drinking, and I saw the car come up for sale, and I thought, wow, that's a special looking car. I've obviously known about them. Very, very rare cars. I think 150 made. I think 15 of them were converted, or it's rumoured that 12 or 15 of them were converted to Jota spec. Now the SE30, obviously 30 is the special anniversary for 30 years of Lamborghini, and the car was originally sort of fated to be with the Jota car, with the Jota specification engine. You could race the car. But my particular cars, as I sort of mentioned earlier, I saw it come up for sale and I thought, that's quite I like that. And I put a bid in on it, on the auction, and woke up the next morning and I'd won it. I'd got it. I thought, oh shit. But, so yeah, that's how it came about. But yeah, don't get me wrong, I was pleasantly surprised, but I didn't sort of expect to get it. But yeah, so that's how it came about. I think the finding the feet, value-wise, the last sort of car that I know of, very, very popular. Everybody seems to like the colour that it was launched in. The launch colour is that viola colour. Like I say, mine's titanium silver. They're certainly high up into the fours. So yeah, they are finding the feet now. That's the last car that I know of that sold, which was sold in the UK. I know where there is another one, but I'm told the guy, it starts with a 5. You know, so they are sort of going up, you could say. Yeah, I think the thing with it, of the 150, the sad thing is actually, if you were fortunate enough, and I think the last 2 or 3 Jota kits they actually struggled to get rid of, because although it sounds like a good idea to put the Jota engine kit on it, it virtually makes the car undrivable on the road. You know, the rev range, you've got to be above like 5 for it, you know, the much faster cams, and you know, it's not something that would make it a better road car, certainly. And then another, when I bought that car, I was talking to another guy who was far more clued up on Lamborghinis than I am. He knows everything about them, and he said to me, of the 150 cars that were made, there are only 134 left. 16 of them have been totaled. So yeah, it is a very, very rare car. There again, no, obviously down to lockdown, not used it too much. When I first got it and we fetched it into the UK, then I took it down to Adam at Lamborghini Leicester, who went through the car. And it came back after, we did do some work on it, but I just wanted to make sure that car was right, and he went through it with a fine tooth comb and gave it an absolute clean bill of health after, you know, we had service work done to it, and I think we replaced, because the car hadn't been used too much, we replaced the fuel pumps and the filters, and you know, just as a precaution almost, you know, just to make sure the car was right. But on the sort of occasions that I have driven it, it's quite a bit more than an SV. It weighs, I think it's 150, 200 kilos less than an SV, and an SV is stripped out almost in comparison to a Diablo GT, which is obviously the heavier four-wheel drive system. But even the standard SE, I think, is 525, 530 horsepower, but it's got less weight. It's only two-wheel drive. The thing I really like about it, it's got the most gorgeous, most of them have, it's the most beautiful Alcantara, blue Alcantara dash and seats. I really think it's such a pretty car inside. Quite a few things. There's no air conditioning in an SE30. I don't know if you know, but you've got an adjustable three-way roll bar system, so you can firm the car up. But yeah, I just think it looks, you know, it's got that sort of what I call like a shovel nose, the extended front spoiler. It's got a much shallower rear spoiler. There again, for me, it's got mine. I did actually fit a new exhaust to it. Adam fitted a new exhaust to it to open it up even more. It's got magnesium intakes, so you've got these lovely sort of gold chambers on top of the engine. The manifolds are different. The cylinder heads are different. So you know, you can tell when you drive the car it's lost some weight, and it has got quite a bit more on-road performance. And that is a genuine 210 mile an hour car. It is a very, very quick car. That was almost, if you like, that was Lamborghini's answer to sort of the F40, just around the time the F50 was coming out. I think it was 94, 95 they made the SE30s. And that's around the time, like a golden age, if you like, for supercars. So you've got the XJ220s, the McLaren F1, the Bugatti EB110s, you know, the F40 stroke F50, and then Lamborghini with the SE30. It was really like, for me, that was almost like a golden age of supercars. I'd seen the Diablo SV, and I did like the colour. It's like a Scuro Blue is like a really deep blue, almost purpley colour. You know, in certain lights, it's got like a lovely purple hue to it. And it was an SV. You can get the SVs, I don't know if you know, but you can get them either tall geared or short geared, the SVs. The short geared car is, I think it's good for about 180 miles an hour or something, but with the taller final gear, it's a 200 mile an hour car with the long final gear. Still a very, very dramatic looking car. Yeah, I liked it. I like the look of it. It's, there again, more my fault than the car's fault. I just didn't use it as much as what I should have done. But by that time, I'd been fortunate. I'd sort of collection had expanded a little bit, and it maybe got its nose shoved out. You know what I mean? You know, it's just the way that things worked out. I didn't use the car as much as what I should have done. I did see them. I was probably there when you were there. I did see them, but like I said, the SBRs, literally, they were the SE30s. You could, you know, they were saying that you could make the SE30 was based on the SBR, and certainly there were parts of it carried over into the 6-litre GT car. But yeah, that was a hell of a series. The noise alone from that grid going around was pretty special. I met Simon, like I say, I don't think he'd mind me telling you, I met Simon when I'd got the Countach, and we were on his way down to Le Mans, and we were on the ferry, and I think he'd got a Urraco at the time, and he said, you know, talking in the bar, oh, is that your Countach? Is that your Urraco? We've been friends ever since. But yeah, Simon has got, amongst other things, he's got a Diablo 6-litre GT, even rarer than the SE30s. I'm not going to fall out with him, but I think his car is maybe not as usable as an SE30. An SE30 has at least got some boot space at the front. I think there are, like I say, I think there are only 80 of the GTs, but because of the nose, if you've seen the bonnet on a Diablo GT, it's got a big, huge scoop in the bonnet. And the only piece of luggage that fits in there is literally like a tailor-made briefcase. So you're only going to get your toothbrush and your underwear in it. That's all, you know, if you're planning on going away anywhere for a weekend in it. And even more stripped out than an SE30. So perhaps, as I say, maybe more of a, you know, a very limited use car. You're going to be limited what you can do in it. But yeah, that funny story. He did tell me. He said he'd entered it almost as a joke. He entered it into, it may have been Wilton House, I think, I'm not sure, I can't remember. He entered it into the concours. And he's notorious for he's worse than me, he never cleans his cars. And he entered it in and just virtually left the car. Anyway, he came back, they were asking for him on the tannoy. Can the honour of this, anyway, he won the concours. And he said to me at the time, he said, one of the judges was Tiff, obviously, who we both know. And he said, the reason we decided to give it to you, because his car was splattered in flies. He said, your car looks like it's been used. And there were all the other cars that were there, were all like pristine, polished to within an inch of their lives. But so he won the concours for it with this very dirty car.